All right, getting back to the egg theme, Kate Beckinsale, who was an actor, says her daughter's boyfriend laid eggs. Internet tries to make sense of it. A human being laying eggs. Didn't seem like a joke. Could be a psyop. It's on TV after all, and especially on a talk show. It wasn't really a skit. So it almost seems like they want us to think this is true. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I haven't seen the eggs myself. Kate Beckinsale reveals her daughter's boyfriend laid 2 eggs. It had a shell and a yolk. Yeah, so it's not really a metaphor, although it could be. The eggs is a very significant occult symbol that we'll look at in this video. Now, this person here is well known for the Underworld movies. Now, the Underworld associated with Hades and the Abyss. Underworld blood wars. They're trying to locate Eve, whose blood holds the key to building an army of vampire werewolf hybrids. And the hybrid story, of course, one of the oldest stories in the world. The old stories are basically creation of the world, or the order out of chaos, and then the rebellion of humanity against the creator. And then there's kind of a decreation back to chaos, such as a flood. And this is in the Bible, just in the first 10 chapters or so, this whole story of creation, rebellion, destruction. And it includes hybrids, agents of chaos trying to destroy the creation through the hybrid strategy and creating an empire, which would be Babel, which is really Babylon, where the Jews ended up in the 6th century BC. There's the daughter, Lily. Lily Mosheen has also been in Underworld. And here's a few photos of ladyboys. I just searched for ladyboy pageant, just so you get a sense. There's a bunch of ladyboys right there. They all kind of have that bony shoulder. Look at the bony shoulder. The corset and the extended dress to make the hips look wider. Now let's take a look at the actual video from Jimmy Kimmel Live. Kate Beckinsale's daughter's boyfriend laid 2 eggs. So they're not keeping this secret. They're putting this out there. And this is the dialogue. He laid 2 eggs in a week, and he's a Jew from New Jersey. That's interesting. So he may be practicing Babylonian mysticism. He said, "I've laid an egg." Jimmy Kimmel's kind of playing along. And so they basically, at about 5 minutes in, they start talking about this, and it goes to the very end of the whole video, the whole segment. They didn't even really talk about the movie, and it's not his vagina. Now, does that mean he has one, and the egg just didn't come out of there? Are you sure it wasn't one of his testicles? He crushed it to see what was inside. A yolk was inside. Now, I wonder if they should have probably had it for breakfast, if you think about it. And it happened twice. And I believe it came out in the bathroom, putting eggs up your bottom. Now, there's a show called Generation V, and they show people giving birth and cloning themselves basically out of their butt. And these eggs came out on the toilet. Oh, this is interesting. Tell me that's not an egg. What in the world? But no jokes, just want to know why he's producing eggs. Now, the timing of this is kind of interesting, given that there's supposed to be some kind of alien disclosure around Christmas time. There was a newscaster recently said, all I want for Christmas is an alien invasion or something like that. So now they're always teasing us with this alien disclosure stuff, but maybe one of these days they'll actually do it. In my opinion, aliens are just entities that live on the other side of the ice dome or in the other realm, spiritual entities, demons, that kind of thing. They've always existed. They existed before we did, and they're not really aliens from another planet. They're just from a different realm. They've been coming to Earth since the beginning. Satan's basically an alien. He appears in Genesis 3. The blue origin with the egg. See, these guys hatched out of an egg. There's the hatch. Stranded NASA astronauts return to Earth after 9 months in space. And see, this is the cosmic egg. The cosmic egg, and there's the rebus, the androgyne, inside of the egg. The whole world's an egg in the occult. And then in Blavatsky, the secret doctrine, you have the third race, the egg-born androgynes. Bioengineering, cloning, they're creating egg-born androgynes, and they're coming out of people's butts. Lady Gaga hatches from egg at Grammy Awards. the egg-born androgyne hatching out of the egg. See, they're like divine beings. They're not part of this created world. The Secret Doctrine, the Synthesis of Science, Religion, and Philosophy by Helena P. Blavatsky, otherwise known as a bunch of mumbo jumbo. But this word egg shows up quite a bit. Now, according to this book, they do believe there was a time when human beings laid eggs and were hatched from eggs, and that we will return back to that stage again someday. The primordial form of everything manifested, a serpent swallowing its tail, cosmic evolution in the egg, the virgin egg, the virgin mother, chaos, or the primeval deep. In the beginning, before mother became mother-father. So there's the androgyne again. The fiery dragon moved in the infinitudes alone. The serpent queen, the mother of all that moves, before our globe became egg-shaped, a long trail of cosmic dust or fire mist moved and writhed like a serpent in space. So that's the 3-eye Atlas comet or spaceship, that thing that's in the news these days that's supposed to come close around Christmas time. And many people believe there'll be some kind of alien disclosure at that time. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but they're always kind of teasing us. The egg was incorporated as a sacred sign in the cosmogony of every people on the earth. It's a symbolic representation of the universe, circle in the sphere, cosmos in the form of an egg, the egg of the universe. I am the Eggman, Orphic egg, the egg or the male from the female in the androgyne. The egg was sacred to Isis, the priests of Egypt. Never ate eggs on that account. They are all connected with the primeval wisdom which flows out of the pre-cosmic source of all, symbolized by the head, the circle, the egg, and they all have an identical meaning and relate to the primordial archetypal man, Adam Kadmon, the creative origin of all things. And as we know, Adam Kadmon was an androgyne, which this book says, and Judaism says the same thing, which means they must have believed this at the Tower of Babel and before the flood. See, they believe the androgyne created life, or life came out of the androgyne, but really the androgyne is the destruction of life, packaged as something spiritual. It's a false spirituality. Unable to trace in Genesis the egg-born, we shall still find there unmistakably the androgynes. The androgynes are in the book of Genesis according to Blavatsky, who is reading the book of Genesis allegorically. Well, you can pretty much find anything you want in the Bible if you're creative enough. The divine hermaphrodite. Well, there you go. See, I'm doing a search for eggs. That's the search. See that? I'm searching for the word egg, but related to this word egg, the androgynes also appear, and the divine hermaphrodite. Astronomy, right? The Chaldeans, Babylon, the religious mysteries, ancient truths, under the veil of allegory and symbolism. Now, this is very similar to the oral traditions in the Babylonian Talmud. In the book of Enoch, we have Adam, the first divine androgyne. Oh, look at that. Do you guys know that? Adam was the first divine androgyne according to Blavatsky. Castor and Pollux. Adam, Kadmon, is like Brahma and Mars, the symbol of the generative and creative power, typifying water and earth, the alchemical secret, the philosopher's stone, separating into man and woman. See, they separate. That was the fall of man, is when they separated. They lost their divine androgynous unity, becoming Yahweh, Cain and Abel, male and female, the double-sexed Yehovah. So this is the tetragrammaton. They believe Yahweh was androgynous. Male and female created he them and called their name Adam. Oh, that proves they're androgynous, according to the crazy people. This is one of the greatest mysteries, which means secret. Remember, the word mystery means secret, and a revelation is the disclosure of the secret. Adam stands for the primitive human race, Yahovah, meaning male life and female life, first androgynous, then separated into the sexes. They're saying Yahweh is androgynous, and then separated into the sexes. So this is the root of the so-called androgynous agenda, very ancient religion. For Seth is no man, but a race. Before him, humanity was hermaphrodite. They're getting back to the primordial sample, the prototype. The divine hermaphrodite is then Brahma, Vak Viraj, and that of the Semites, or the Shemites, or rather the Jews, is Yehovah Cain Abel. First male hyphen female, androgynous, then man and women. The human embryo was nourished ab extra by cosmic forces in that the father hyphen mother, the androgyne, furnished apparently the germ that ripened in all probability a sweat-born egg to be hatched out in some mysterious way. Well, yeah, so that's what Kate Beckinsale is talking about, a man laying an egg in some mysterious way, disconnected from the double parent. It is comparatively easy to conceive of an oviparous humanity, meaning born from an egg, or animals that lay eggs and are hatched from eggs. And if you think about it, reptiles hatch from eggs, which brings you into the whole reptilian idea. Since even now, man is, in one sense, egg-born. It is in the third race that the separation of sexes occurred from being previously asexual or androgynous or non-binary, as they call it today. The first two of these are produced by an oviparous method. Eggs, presumably unknown to modern natural history. Yeah, I guess so. We just found out about this on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. The little ones of the earlier races were entirely sexless, but those of the later races were born androgynous. They were born this way, as the egg-born Lady Gaga once said. It is in the third race that the separation of the sexes occurred from being previously asexual. Humanity became distinctly hermaphrodite or bisexual, androgynous. And finally, the man-bearing eggs. There it is right there. We've found what we're looking for. The man-bearing eggs began to give birth gradually and almost imperceptibly in their evolutionary development, first to beings in which one sex predominated over the other, and finally to distinct men and women, the egg-born race. So they are talking about this now on talk shows. That's what's going on here. Human evolution took place in this order. 1, sexless. 2, by a natural transition, he became a solitary hermaphrodite, a bisexual being, and finally separated and became what he is now. Science teaches us that all the primitive forms, though sexless, still retain the power of undergoing the processes of asexual multiplication. Bisexual reproduction is an evolution. So basically they're saying we're not created male and female, we were created androgynous. And the current state we're in now is a result of evolution, or possibly de-evolution. Our nature of old was not the same as it is now. It was androgynous. Their bodies were round like an egg. This is from Plato's The Symposium. Hence, Zeus divided each of them into two. The division of the sexes was a punishment because humanity used to be androgynous and complete and perfect and strong and powerful like a god. Man was the product of the tree of life growing in androgynous pairs till they were separated at a subsequent modification of the human form. So they believe we are in the modified and kind of a lower form now. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female created he them. If read esoterically, they believe this means androgynous. If read esoterically, not read grammatically or in context. Reading the Bible esoterically is actually reading it out of context. It's eisegesis. It's reading the Bible in whatever context you want to read it. So you can kind of make it mean whatever you want it to mean based on your own agenda. Created they him, collective humanity. So him doesn't mean a male. Him means humanity, Adam. Now, Adam does mean human being. Male and female created he, them. This will show the esoteric point. The sexless race was their first production. So this is their interpretation of Genesis 1, 26, a modification of and from themselves, the pure spiritual existences, and this was Adam solus. Thence came the second race, Adam-Eve, or Yod-He-Vav-He, inactive androgynes. And finally, the third race, the separating hermaphrodite, Cain and Abel, who produced the fourth race. So they believe each generation in the early chapters of Genesis is like a whole different race of humanity. Seth, Enos, that is the third, the last semi-spiritual race, the God possessing the double fecundity of the two sexes. Mystically, Jesus was held to be man-woman, androgynous. Yeah, so that's the Gnostic version of the Christ. Jesus was the divine androgyne, according to them. Jupiter had female breasts. Venus is bearded in some of her statues. Thus, the pristine bisexual unity of the human third root race is an axiom in the secret doctrine. Its virgin individuals were raised to gods because that race represented their divine dynasty. The moderns are satisfied with worshiping the male heroes of the fourth race who created gods after their own sexual image, whereas the gods of primeval mankind were male and female, quote unquote, which means androgynous. Our fifth race is rapidly approaching the fifth element. Remember, there's a movie about this. I think I made a video on that. It's all about the return of the divine androgyne. To return, however, once more to the history of the third race, the sweat-born, the egg-bearing, and the androgyne. Almost sexless in its early beginnings, it became bisexual or androgynous. Very gradually, of course. Kind of like today, there's a gradual transition happening to humanity. Becoming a regular egg gave forth a unisexual creature. But it is evident that the units of the third race, humanity, began to separate in their prenatal shells or eggs. So this is basically a kind of esoteric alternative history of humanity. A lot of the ideas come from the Vedas, the ancient Indian texts, which go back to Babylon. There's a connection with the Theosophy Society and the United Nations. A desperate attempt by depraved humanity to rebel against God using their ancient philosophy and magic, the ancient mysteries. Freemasons being initiated into the ancient mysteries, esoteric worship or mysteries. And who are those left now save a few initiates who understand the language and correct meaning of such symbolic terms? Secret science and an esoteric history of the world is based on fact that though hitherto unknown to the masses and a veiled mystery even to the learned, it is still no fairy tale, but an actuality. The history of Freemasonry. This is the very last page of the book right here. There is no religion higher than truth. Well, there you go. There's the truth according to Blavatsky, and they're talking about it now in the talk shows. This is kind of like when you show somebody a picture of your baby, right? It's kind of like they're showing baby photos. Now, most of these talk shows are, it's pretty much staged. It's a show, right? They know what they're going to talk about beforehand. So this is part of some kind of agenda, I believe. There's a kind of gradual disclosure of all kinds of strange things. I mean, even just this right here, that's not a normal human being. Kate Beckinsale is under the impression some humans can lay eggs. Well, so was Blavatsky. Maybe this is how they give birth already. But either way, they're kind of telling the esoteric stories because these people believe what Blavatsky believed. They believe in the secret history, the alternative history of humanity. They read the Bible esoterically. They're practicing Babylonian mysticism, and they believe in the religion of androgyny, and they believe they are gods.